Welcome back and thanks for staying with the SABC. KwaZulu-Natal Premier-elect Thami Ntuli says a mammoth task lies ahead. Ntuli was elected at the first sitting of the KZN legislature in Pietermaritzburg last week. His appointment is a result of a coalition between the IFP, the ANC, the DA and the NFP in the province. Ntuli joining us now via our video link to get us a sense of what his plans are for such a complex and interesting province. Ntuli, great to have you on the SABC. Thanks very much indeed for making time. Congratulations are in order. Something tells me this was always the plan, at least insofar as the agreement is concerned between the parties that are involved in this coalition. What do you start with a province that's facing so many challenges?
Well, good morning, Ayanda, to yourself and to the viewers at home, in particular the people of KwaZulu-Natal. Well, I think, as we all understand, that it's an arrangement wherein different political parties are involved and consultations are important to a greater, in fact, extent. However, tomorrow, on the 18th, it will be an official swearing in of the Premier, wherein I will be presenting, in fact, tangible way forward in terms of trying to approach the issues of solving the problems that are affecting the people of KwaZulu-Natal. And after that, we'll be also announcing the members of the executives. From there, we'll hit the ground running.
Yeah. When it comes to that executive, I'm sure there is also some kind of template that you have to follow, given the fact that the agreement that exists in KwaZulu-Natal, we're told, is going to be replicated in some ways at a national level and in places like Gauteng. What can you tell us about what residents of KwaZulu-Natal can expect as part of this agreement, insofar as the configuration of the executive is concerned?
We're all in agreement that the agenda is one, it's service delivery. To address issues that people have been complaining with. I've been in local government most of my life, and I understand better how badly people, in fact, are impacted by the issues of service delivery in the ground, especially in the disadvantaged areas, in townships and the rural areas. Even in urban areas, you know that there are issues of service delivery, and then that would be our main focus, and we are in agreement as all political parties that we really need to put forward the agenda of the people in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, so that even those who are hopeless will actually have a new hope, will be inspired for a new hope about the future of their children. Because in our agenda, we understand the issues of a center of priority from the people, issues of unemployment, issues of crime, infrastructure investment, and the economy. Then that will be the driving even agenda in what we'll be doing in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. However, broader consultation, because we need to take into stock what is there, how far the government have gone, because it's not a new government altogether, but how far they've gone in terms of trying to address issues as delivery, and then we'll take it from there.
All right. And you know, KZN is a very charged province, and we'll speak about that in just a moment. The elephant in the room, of course, is that the party that got the most number of votes is not part of this new government. In fact, the IFP in the last election got 18% of the vote in KwaZulu-Natal. MK got more than double that. There are people who are saying, just on the basis of the principle of the largest party having a say, this current coalition is unlikely to last in the province. How do you see things?
It's going to last. I can assure you that it's a coalition that's going to last. And you know, when people are making analysis of the numbers, they mustn't forget that as much as the MK party got 45%, but there is 55% of the people of KwaZulu-Natal that voted the bloc, wherein we've agreed to form government of the provincial unity. In fact, we are representing the majority of the people. However, whether a person voted for any political party but is part of the province of KwaZulu-Natal, in terms of service delivery, will be servicing everyone. Because what is important is the services that the people are actually expecting from government. if the government is able to deliver services actually to the people of KwaZulu-Natal, I don't see one, in fact, still clinging on the issue of a percentage, because it's not about percentage, it's about services to the people.
Yeah. Was there an attempt to engage the MK party? I know, at a very last minute, they decided to send their representatives to the provincial legislature. In fact, they fielded candidates themselves as part of the voting process last week. And let's face it, a lot of the people who ended up getting the positions, including yourself, made it through by a very small margin because of how tight the divide actually is there.
You see, what is good is that I believe people who are there, they understand that to be there is about the people of KwaZulu-Natal, is about serving the people of KwaZulu-Natal. Hence, Inkosi Eliza, whom we have been in good term for quite a very long time. I respect him as Inkosi. We have that cordial relationship. Called me a day after to say, well, I wish you well, and then I will be supporting you in your journey. That's a good gesture, which in fact alleviating any anticipated fear that there may be some element of not working together. We understand that we are there to serve the people of KwaZulu-Natal, and they are at the center of our agenda. We understand the problem that they are faced with, the things that they have been complaining with for a very long time, and then we will be moving in that spirit.
The IFP is known to have, a close relationship, let's say, with the Zulu monarch. I think as part of your speech on Friday, you mentioned something along the lines of supporting the current king, Mrs. Zwelithini. Does that come with any extra perks for the monarch because of, any kind of relationship that you have with the AmaZulu nation? Is there any kind of plan in that nature?
Well, it's early, Ayanda, to even talk about that now, because you cannot simply just come with an extra perk for His Majesty without consultation. I think the word consultation is important, because you understand the stage of the king in KwaZulu-Natal, and then for any thing that you want to introduce, proper consultation with His Majesty himself is in fact important.
Yeah. I want to just go back to the MK and their voice around this, because I'm sure you'll agree, even though they don't form part of this government, they do amass quite a sizable chunk, at least if the elections are anything to go by. Yesterday, the leader of this organization, Jacob Zuma, really coming out guns blazing against this idea of a government of national unity. As far as he's concerned, there's no such thing. The circumstances as they existed in 1994 don't exist as they do in 2024. And I suppose the question becomes whether or not the title of this government means anything outside of the work that you'll be able to do. In other words, does it matter for these parties involved whether we call it a government of national unity or a coalition because of what's attached to both titles? What a pity. It looks like we've lost our connection there to Thami Ntuli, the newly elected Premier of KwaZulu-Natal. Mr. Ntuli, I'm just going to double check if you can still hear me.
Yes, I know you are back now. You are back. I lost you for a while.
Okay, let me ask perhaps the question more succinctly. The former president believes there's no such thing as a government of national unity. What's your response to that?
You see, the government of national or provincial unity, in fact, is something that once happened. You recall the government of national unity did take place in our country successfully. And for political parties to work together in any sphere of government is something that has been there in South Africa for a while. You talk about the corporations or the coalitions. It has actually been working quite very well for most of the spheres of government. And I'm hopeful that if we understand that we are not there alone, we are working with partners, we'll be able really to take the country forward, because the people of KwaZulu-Natal are the ones who voted in a pattern that has compelled that no one political party won an outright majority. So, in fact, directing political parties to work together to take forward the agenda of the province.
Right. You know, the idea around a government of national unity is to be as inclusive as possible. If the MK party were to come back and ask for an ear, are you willing to give them your audience because of this principle of being inclusive?
That's a political decision, in fact, that will be taken at negotiations at level, because in government we are not, in fact, assist with such issues. But at a political level, we have a team that is responsible for the talks in the IFP. I think then whenever whoever may want to have an ear, then the team will be able to attend to it as it comes.
Okay, that's at a political level, but at a principle level?
Well, I cannot, you say, talk of a principle on an issue which I know that is not within my periphery. You see, the coalition team, I mean, the team that's responsible for the negotiations, they're the ones, in fact, as a matter of principle, who will be able to actually make a determination owing to the issue of the time that we have already formed a government. And then was still, but it's not an event even to form government. Because there's still a lot that ought to be done. I think then the team will consider as it comes to the team.
All right, I won't push any further. I do know it's all very tricky at this stage, and hopefully there'll be a whole lot more certainty rather sooner than later. Thami Ntuli, thanks for your time. We appreciate your speaking to the SABC. Thami Ntuli, of course, the Premier-elect of KwaZulu-Natal, is swearing in, if memory serves, expected sometime this week.